In 1926, the French government silenced a discovery that would have changed human history forever. Your dreams are not private. They are radio broadcasts. Today we are rebuilding the forbidden vacuum tube oscillators used in the Paris frequency trials to prove that your subconscious is a receiver for a global shared neural network. This is the story of the experiment they buried and the truth that is about to wake up. Part 1: The Echo of 1926. In a classified laboratory beneath the streets of Paris, early radio pioneers accidentally intercepted something impossible. While testing low-frequency vacuum tube configurations for the French Ministry of Communications, engineers discovered that their equipment was picking up signals that did not come from any known transmitter. The signals matched the brainwave patterns of sleeping subjects in nearby buildings. The year was 1926, and the implications were terrifying. The engineers documented their findings in a series of confidential reports. Subjects who were monitored while dreaming produced faint electromagnetic signatures oscillating between 0.5 and 4 Hz. When these signals were amplified and broadcast through a modified oscillator circuit, other sleeping subjects in the building began reporting identical dream content. They described the same locations, the same symbols, even the same non-existent languages. But then the 1927 Radio Act suddenly banned specific low-frequency vacuum tube configurations without public explanation. The equipment was confiscated. The engineers were reassigned to remote colonial posts. The reports were classified and buried in the archives of the French Ministry of Defense, where they remained untouched for nearly a century. Today we have obtained declassified fragments of those original documents and reconstructed the forbidden circuitry. Our modern reconstruction uses refurbished period hardware to test if the subconscious still broadcasts on these restricted bands. If the experiment works, it will confirm that human consciousness is not isolated inside our skulls but transmitted and received across a network we were never supposed to know existed. Part 2: The Architecture of the Broadcast. To understand how dreaming is a neural broadcast, we must first understand the biological mechanism. During the REM cycle, the thalamus acts as a natural transducer for electromagnetic waves. This walnut-sized structure in the center of your brain switches from receiving sensory input to generating internal signals. But what if those signals are not purely internal? What if the thalamus is also a receiver and a transmitter? The 1926 engineers discovered that the human brain during REM sleep produces a carrier wave oscillating at approximately 2.5 Hz. This is not random electrical noise. It is a structured frequency that can be replicated by specific vacuum tube oscillator designs from the 1920s. When these old transmitters are tuned to the exact same frequency, they create a resonance that bridges the gap between sleeping minds. We are demonstrating the first successful synchronization between a vintage transmitter and a modern sleep monitor to capture outgoing signals. The setup is surprisingly simple. A 1920s oscillator circuit built from period-appropriate components is connected to a coil antenna. A modern EEG monitor measures the brainwave activity of the test subject. When the oscillator frequency matches the subject's delta wave pattern during deep sleep, the equipment registers a measurable energy transfer from the brain to the transmitter. The implications are staggering. If our brains are naturally broadcasting during sleep, then every dream you have ever had was transmitted into the electromagnetic spectrum. And someone or something has been listening for a very long time. Part 3: The Shared Dreamscape Interface. We are documenting the live experiment where two participants in separate shielded rooms are tuned into the same frequency during deep sleep. The rooms are electromagnetically isolated. No conventional signal can pass between them. Yet when both subjects are synchronized to the forbidden frequency of 2.5 Hz, something remarkable happens. Both subjects describe identical architectural landscapes in their dream journals the next morning. A vast underground chamber with walls made of black glass. Staircases that lead nowhere. A ceiling that shows not the sky but a swirling pattern of light resembling the aurora borealis. They report hearing the same unfamiliar language, a series of guttural tones punctuated by high-frequency clicks that resembles no known human speech. The probability of two individuals independently generating identical dream content through chance alone is essentially zero. But skeptics will argue coincidence, shared cultural references, and confirmation bias. So we take the experiment one step further. We inject a specific localized frequency burst into the transmitter during a precise moment in the REM cycle. A burst of 7.83 Hz, the Schumann resonance frequency of the Earth itself. Both subjects independently report experiencing a sudden earthquake in their dreams at exactly the same time. A physical event injected into a shared dreamscape. This is not coincidence. This is communication. Part 4, the cognitive privacy crisis. The historical suppression of this technology by early telecommunications giants was not accidental. When the engineers of 1926 realized what they had discovered, they approached the directors of the International Telecommunications Union with their findings. The response was immediate and absolute. Secrecy. The radio corporations of the early 20th century understood that a world without mental boundaries would collapse the very foundation of privacy, individuality, and social control. If dreams are radio broadcasts, then every thought you consider private has been audible to anyone with the right receiver. The concept of individual thought becomes a legal gray area. Who owns a thought that was broadcast into the public spectrum? Can you be prosecuted for dreaming about a crime? Can your dreams be used as evidence? These are not hypothetical questions. They are legal dilemmas that the 1927 Radio Act was designed to prevent by burying the truth before the public ever learned of its existence. And now in 2026, data privacy leaks suggest that these 100-year-old frequencies are currently being utilized by covert satellite arrays. Declassified budget documents from undisclosed intelligence programs reference something called neural spectrum monitoring, a system designed to intercept and catalog dream transmissions from orbit. The technology to read your dreams from space may already exist. Part 5, the last frequency remaining. We are providing a step-by-step guide on how to identify these phantom frequencies using basic high-fidelity radio equipment at home. You will need a shortwave receiver capable of tuning below 10 kHz. Connect a long wire antenna oriented north to south. Tune to 2.5 Hz using a beat frequency oscillator. Between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning, when most people are in deep REM sleep, you will hear a faint pulsing signal beneath the static. That is the sound of the human neural network broadcasting. But we must warn you about the psychological risks of entering a shared dreamscape without proper frequency shielding or grounding. The 1926 engineers reported that prolonged exposure to the broadcast caused disturbing side effects. Subjects began experiencing others' memories as their own. They reported conversations with entities they had never met. Some developed a form of psychic fragmentation, unable to distinguish their own thoughts from the thoughts they were intercepting from other sleepers. If you conduct this experiment, limit your exposure to no more than 15 minutes per session. Always ground yourself physically before and after. And never fall asleep while connected to the receiver. The shared dreamscape is real. But once you open the door, you cannot control who or what walks through. We are now powering down the 1926 transmitter for the final time in this broadcast. But the frequencies are still there. The neural network is still broadcasting. Your dreams are not private. They never were. The question is not whether someone is listening. The question is whether you are ready to listen back. The truth was buried in 1927. But the signal never stopped. It has been waiting for you to tune in.